It's Goldman Diaries. 2 weeks ago, I asked my mom for $100,000 to open my own studio. She said yes right away. But since then, nothing. No transfer. No explanation. And tonight, for the third time already, she said the same thing. Later today. Then I accidentally overheard her on the phone. James, you promised me. Just give me something now. Anything. I can't tell my daughter. She doesn't know anything. I remember the smell of the coffee that morning, warm, cinnamon-laced, too perfect to match the tension I felt inside. We were sitting in our usual spot, the cafe inside the hotel where I rented a studio for content shoots. Light poured through the tall windows, and somewhere in the background, soft jazz played. I was scrolling through photos from yesterday's shoot, silky robes, mirrored trays, golden hour. The kind of thing my followers loved. Everything looked so beautiful. So effortless. Except that morning, I wasn't thinking about aesthetics. I was thinking about the message I hadn't received. I glanced at my phone again. Still nothing. 2 weeks ago, I asked my mom for $100,000. I wanted to open my own advertising studio. Not just an Instagram page anymore, a real business. Real clients. Shoots, strategy, branded content. I'd already picked the name. I had the vision. I just needed the money. When I brought it up, she didn't hesitate. Of course, darling, she said. You're ready for it. I'll transfer the money this week. That was 2 weeks ago. I took a sip of coffee and looked across the table. She was flipping through a luxury interior design magazine like nothing was wrong. Mom, I said, as casually as I could manage, did the transfer go through? I haven't seen anything hit my account. She didn't even look up. Oh, no, not yet. I'll do it later today. Things have been so busy. Busy with what? Spa appointments and dinners? But I didn't say that. I just nodded and smiled. The truth is, after the divorce, everything seemed stable. She got the apartment in downtown Dubai, with a balcony that faced the Burj Khalifa. My dad, now living in London with his new wife, kept sending her money. Monthly. Without delay. He said it was for me to make sure I had everything I needed. But the account was in her name. And I never questioned it. She gave me my own card, sleek, black, with no spending limit I could ever reach. I used it for photoshoot setups, hotel rentals, facial treatments, designer pieces for styling content. I didn't think twice. I wasn't reckless, but I was comfortable. Until now. I stared at my phone again. No notification. No transfer. I felt something twist in my chest, not panic, not yet, but the first flicker of confusion. A kind of dissonance, like a key that doesn't quite fit. After all, this was my mother. The woman who spent $5,000 on a custom silk robe for a brunch party. Who once bought a candle that cost more than a plane ticket. Why would she hesitate now? Why this delay? Maybe she forgot. Maybe something came up. But a week ago, she'd said the same thing later today. And 3 days ago, this weekend. And now, we were back to later today. I kept my face neutral. Okay, I said. I just need to finalize the lease for the studio space. I don't want to lose it. She looked up then. Smiled. Of course. I'll handle it tonight. But I could tell, her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. That was the first moment something inside me tensed. Just slightly. Like a wire being pulled. I finished my coffee in silence. I didn't press again. But that night, as I lay in bed, I stared at the ceiling and repeated her words in my head. I'll handle it tonight. And still nothing. 2 weeks. $0. No explanation. And for the first time in my life, I started to wonder, what if she's hiding something? That evening, Dubai looked like a dream outside our windows, a velvet sky, glittering towers, and the soft glow of the Burj Khalifa flickering through the glass. Inside, it felt like a stage set. Too perfect. Too quiet. Dinner was served. Truffle risotto, sea bass, and a bottle of white wine already opened. Amelia had dressed up, not unusually, but there was a certain stiffness in how she poured the wine, how she arranged her napkin. I let the small talk pass. Influencer gossip, some friend's divorce, new spa opening at Jumeirah. But I wasn't listening. When the timing felt right, I asked, calmly, without accusation. Mom, I just need to know, when exactly will you be able to send the money? I already found the perfect studio. I need to pay for it. She took a slow sip of wine, then smiled. I told you, darling, I'll transfer it within a week. I've just had a lot going on. I nodded slowly. But if the money's there, why not now? Why keep waiting? Her smile stayed, but her fingers tensed slightly around the glass. She looked away, not out the window, not at me, just somewhere. I would have done it today, she said, lighting a cigarette with slightly shaky hands, but there's some kind of glitch in the banking app. I can't log in. Nothing loads. Maybe tomorrow. She stubbed the cigarette out midway and tried to smile again. It's fine. Let's not make this a thing. But it already was a thing. That answer didn't sit right. Not with the way she moved. Not with the way she avoided my eyes. Not with the way she jumped to end the conversation. Something shifted in me. Just slightly, like a floorboard creaking where it never had before. I mean, could you show me? I asked, not accusing, not hostile, just neutral. I just want to see the balance. So I know how to plan the next steps. She paused. It wasn't a dramatic pause. Not theatrical. But it was long enough to feel. Then she pushed her chair back and stood. Mia, I already said the app isn't working. What do you want me to do? It's tech. It glitches. We'll check it tomorrow. She walked out of the room. Just like that. I sat there in silence, the city pulsing outside like it always did. But inside, something felt completely off. She'd never hesitated before. Never dodged like that. Never pulled the app glitch card. This wasn't how we worked. Usually, I asked. She sent. That was our rhythm. But now there were pauses. Excuses. Half smiles. I stared at the untouched risotto and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Doubt. Not about the money. About her. And I couldn't shake this quiet voice inside me whispering. She's not telling you everything. The next morning felt like any other. Light spilled across the marble floors, the apartment was quiet, and my shoot was in 2 hours. I had my coffee in one hand and a hair clip in the other as I walked into the closet to pick out accessories. I was halfway to my jewelry drawer when I heard her voice. It was low, urgent, coming from her bedroom. I froze. James, you promised me, she said sharply. I invested over $500,000. Just give me something back. There was a pause. I didn't move. I barely breathed. Her voice dropped even lower. I can't tell my daughter, understand? She doesn't know anything. My stomach twisted. My hand, still holding the coffee cup, started to tremble. She was talking about me. About money. About something she couldn't say to my face. I stood completely still, heart pounding, trying to process the words. $500,000? James? Can't tell my daughter? The call ended. I heard footsteps. I quickly grabbed a random pair of sunglasses off the shelf and pretended to be adjusting them in the mirror as she passed by the closet. She didn't say a word. Just walked by like everything was fine. Same smooth expression, same perfect poise. I'll be at the spa till 2, she said lightly. Don't forget your shoot. I nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak. The second I heard the front door close, I bolted to her bedroom. Her tablet was on the bed. Unlocked. I hesitated for half a second, then picked it up. Messages. Voice notes. Dozens. All from someone named James. I scrolled through the thread, a heart in my throat. There were screenshots from a trading platform I didn't recognize. Graphs diving straight down. Red numbers. Panic-coded language. Withdrawal failed. Funds pending. James, where is the money? I haven't received anything. Answer me. Please. Voice notes too. Her voice, pleading, breaking. Nothing like the woman I saw every day. One message made my hands go cold. You told me this startup was secure. I trusted you. I used Henry's money. I sat down on the edge of the bed, tablet still in my hands. She invested in crypto. She used my father's money. And now it was gone. Gone. I couldn't breathe for a moment. I had never even considered the idea that we weren't safe. That our life, this apartment, the spending, the studio I was about to open, wasn't backed by something solid. But it wasn't. It was built on someone's pitch deck and promises. And she'd fallen for it. I thought I'd be angry. But it didn't come right away. First came shock. Then betrayal. Then this strange, hollow emptiness. Like the floor under my life had quietly disappeared, and I hadn't even noticed until now. And the worst part? She wasn't going to tell me. She was going to keep smiling, keep brushing me off, keep letting me believe that everything was okay, while everything underneath was crumbling. And all I could hear, again and again, was that one sentence echoing in my head. I can't tell my daughter. That evening, the apartment felt still. Too still. The lights were dimmed low, and the glow from the Burj Khalifa shimmered across the windows like a ghost. Amelia sat on the couch, barefoot, in her silk robe, with a glass of wine balanced in one hand, remote in the other. The TV played something soft, something she wasn't watching. I sat across from her. My heart was pounding, but my voice stayed steady. I reached over, took the remote from her hand, and switched off the screen. She blinked. What's going on? I know, I said. No build-up. No questions. Just truth. I know everything. James. Crypto. You lost all the money. She didn't react at first. She stared at me like I'd just spoken in another language. Then her hand started to tremble, just a little, and she set the wine glass down too quickly. It tilted. She caught it before it spilled. Mia. I saw the messages. The platform. The graphs. The voice notes. She stood up slowly, wrapped her robe tighter, then began to pace. Yes, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, I invested. It was 3 months ago. She wasn't looking at me, she was looking past me, like she couldn't face what she was saying. James said it was guaranteed. He showed me everything, the model, the projections, the growth. I trusted him. He promised 10 times return. I thought. Her voice cracked. I thought I was being smart. That I could grow the settlement, make it last longer. For you. I didn't say a word. I just watched her. A month later it all crashed. Completely. I didn't want to believe it. I kept watching the charts, hoping it would bounce back. But it didn't. I couldn't even withdraw. She sat back down, suddenly looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. The money's gone. The words hung in the air like smoke. I felt my body go cold. All of it. I asked. She nodded. I stared at her. She covered her face with both hands. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know how. And I was scared. If your father finds out, he'll stop the payments. He'll cut us off. We'll have nothing. Her voice was shaky now. Real panic underneath. She reached for my hand, but I didn't move. I'm sorry, Mia. I swear I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought I was doing something smart for us. I pulled my hand away gently. She broke down. Quiet tears. No drama, just deep, silent regret. Please, she said, barely audible, don't tell your father. He'll stop everything. I didn't answer. I just sat there, staring at the woman who raised me, who always seemed so sure of everything, and I didn't recognize her at all. Yes, I lost the money, she whispered. Just please, don't tell your father. The next day, the sun was blinding. I sat on the balcony barefoot, legs tucked under me, staring at the skyline. Somewhere far below, the city buzzed like it always did, cars, fountains, brunches. Dubai kept shining. Inside me, it was quiet. I kept hearing her voice from last night. Over and over. Yes, I lost the money. Please don't tell your father. $500,000. Gone. Everything I thought was untouchable, the apartment, the lifestyle, the card that never declined, was suddenly fragile. One wrong choice. One man with slick promises. And it could all vanish. I'd never questioned it before. I didn't need to. She handled everything. I was free to create, post, plan the next shoot, the next campaign. But now I saw it for what it really was, a beautiful glass shell. And it cracked. I sat with that realization for a long time. Then I picked up my phone. I opened my contacts and hovered over the name, Dad. I hadn't told him anything yet. Not a word. He thinking we were fine, that I was taken care of, that everything was in place. My thumb hovered. Then I tapped, call. He answered almost immediately. Mia, I didn't waste time. I need to tell you something, I said. And it's serious. There was a pause. Go ahead. Mom invested in a crypto startup. A big one. She used the money you sent. Over $500,000. And it's all gone. She thought it would grow. It didn't. She didn't tell you because she was afraid you'd cut her off. The silence on the other end felt sharp. I could hear the weight of it. I took a breath. I didn't know. I only found out yesterday. I asked her for $100,000 to open a studio. She said she would, but the money just wasn't there. Still nothing. I pressed on. I want to do this myself. For real. I want to open the studio. I have a plan. I've already found a location. I just don't have the funds. And she can't give them to me. When he finally spoke, his voice was cold, stripped of any softness. I understand, Mia. I need to think. Then he hung up. I sat there with the phone still in my hand. The sun had shifted. Shadows crawled across the floor tiles. I didn't know what he was going to do. I just knew I had done the only thing I could. I told him the truth. Mom has no money. She invested everything in a scam. That night, the apartment was quiet. Too quiet. I lay in bed, lights off, just the soft glow of my phone screen keeping me company. I hadn't heard from Dad since the call earlier. He said he needed time to think. Maybe he wouldn't do anything. Maybe he'd wait. Maybe he didn't believe me. Then the phone buzzed. A notification. Incoming transfer, $150,000. I sat up instantly, stared at the screen. There it was, my name, my account, my father. Another notification followed, just seconds later. The money is yours. Do what you think is right. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. It wasn't just about the money. It was what it meant. For the first time, I wasn't a dependent. I wasn't just someone being provided for. He trusted me, not her. I sat there in silence, letting it sink in. And then chaos. I heard the slam of a door. Footsteps pounding down the hallway. My bedroom door burst open. Amelia. Hair messy, robe half-tied, phone in her hand. You told him. She was shaking. Furious. My card's frozen. I can't access anything. You told him. I didn't flinch. I didn't yell. I just looked at her. I told Dad the truth. I needed the money for the studio. And now I finally have it. Her face crumbled. Not in rage, in something worse. Shock. She sank down into the chair by the door. Silent. Processing. I lost everything, she whispered. And now, he's cut me off? I didn't answer. She looked at me, like she was seeing me differently for the first time. And maybe she was. Because I wasn't asking anymore. I wasn't waiting. From that moment, everything shifted. The card she used for years, gone. The control she always had, gone. And now, the only money coming in from my father was coming to me. I stopped telling her my plans. I didn't show her studio sketches, invoices, brand decks. That part of my life, the real part, now belonged to me. And she knew it. I could feel it in the way she walked past me the next morning. Quieter. Slower. Unsure. He sent me $150,000. From now on, the money goes through me. My mother no longer controls anything. Exactly 1 week later, I stood in the middle of a bare concrete room with floor-to-ceiling windows, sunlight pouring across polished cement, and for the first time in my life, I felt something no handbag or hotel suite had ever given me. This was mine. The loft was in Tecum, clean, bright, industrial, with an open-plan layout and a view of the skyline that made you believe in your own future. No velvet couches, no marble statues. Just potential, raw and real. I signed the lease without blinking. Then came the gear, lights, softboxes, cameras, backdrops, laptops, monitors, hard drives. I didn't flinch at the numbers. For the first time, I wasn't scared of spending because I was building, not consuming. Next, I started hiring. One by one, they came in, a motion designer from Beirut, 2 freelance videographers who had shot hotel promos across the UAE, a sharp editor, a producer with contacts in fashion retail, and 1 girl who just got branding like nobody else I'd met. 6 people, all of them driven, all of them waiting for me to lead. The launch day came faster than I expected. We didn't do anything dramatic. No party, no press release. Just a single post on Instagram. Studio now open. Photo of our team standing by the windows. No filters. Just light. I waited until after lunch to make the call. He answered on the 3rd ring. Dad, it's done. We've got the space, the team. Everything's ready. Thank you. For the money. For trusting me. There was a pause. Then his voice, low, calm, but warmer than I'd heard in a long time. You're just like me. You'll make it. I didn't say anything back for a moment. I just stood there, by the window, looking out at the stretch of rooftops and cranes and glass towers. I felt steady. Not excited, not euphoric. Steady. I'd spent most of my life chasing something, likes, approval, aesthetics, admiration. Now, I was building something. There were still invoices to handle, calls to return, contracts to negotiate. But underneath all of it, for the first time, I felt a kind of adult pride. The kind that doesn't sparkle. The kind that anchors. This wasn't just content anymore. This was work. My work. The studio is open. This is my path now. And I'm walking it. 2 months passed. Fast at first. Then painfully slow. At the start, we were full of energy, team meetings, brainstorming sessions, coffee runs between edits. We were sure the clients would come. We had the gear, the talent, the ambition. But nothing big came. A few one-time shoots. A boutique opening. A skincare brand that ghosted after the first proposal. We ran Instagram ads. We polished our portfolio. We pitched, followed up, repitched, and still, no real traction. The budget started to slip through my fingers. Rent, salaries, equipment maintenance, retargeting campaigns. It all added up. Every week, the numbers in my account dropped lower. I watched the graphs, updated the sheets, told myself it was just the beginning. But I could feel it. Something wasn't clicking. Then one day, a client we'd been pursuing for weeks, a luxury interior brand, came for an in-person meeting. We gave them everything. Mood boards, shot lists, full strategy. They nodded, smiled, promised to circle back, and never replied. That night, I didn't go back to the studio. I went home. The apartment was dim. The lights from the Burj Khalifa flickered across the kitchen tiles. Amelia was sitting by the counter, alone, glass of wine in hand. We hadn't spoken properly in weeks, just polite silence and short exchanges. I walked in, dropped my bag, and sat beside her. She didn't say anything at first. Just looked at me. What happened? She asked quietly. I stared at the marble countertop. My voice came out low, flat. It's not working. I've tried everything, but without connections. I'm nobody. The words hung there, heavier than I expected. I wasn't crying. I wasn't angry. I was just tired, exhausted, really. I built everything right, but I couldn't open the doors I needed to. She didn't answer immediately. She looked at me for a long time. Then finally, softly, I'll try to help you. I know people who could use your skills. I turned my head toward her. For a second, I didn't know what to say. She wasn't judging. She wasn't gloating. She wasn't even asking anything in return. Just offering. It was the first time in months I saw something else in her eyes. Not panic. Not pride. Something closer to care. I didn't know if it would change anything, but it felt like something cracked open, not in the business. In us. I told her, it's not working. And she said, I'll try to help you. A week later, the studio felt completely different. It started quietly. I didn't even know she was making the calls at first. Mother called friends from her old life, a woman with a chain of luxury perfume boutiques, another who managed one of the city's most exclusive salons, and a third who built her fortune in premium real estate, selling penthouses I'd only ever seen in renderings. Amelia didn't beg. She pitched. Smoothly. She told them about the studio, about the creative team, about me. She told them we didn't just do content. We built identity. And they listened. In just a few days, they came to the office. We hosted them, showed past work, offered concepts. My team is sharp, professional, handled every moment like pros. And then it happened. One signed. Then another. Then all three. 3 contracts. Real budgets. Real deliverables. A perfume shoot with cinematic lighting. A full-service brand reel for the salon. A luxury home tour campaign with drone footage and voiceover scripts. That Friday, I sat at my desk with the signed papers in my inbox and just breathed. The numbers weren't just better. They were everything we needed. Rent covered. Salary stable. Ad budget renewed. A full production calendar for the next 5 weeks. That evening, I came home and walked into the kitchen. She was there again with a glass of wine, again in silence. But this time, I walked up to her. Thank you, I said. Your support means a lot to me. She looked up, and for the first time in so long, she smiled without strain. I love you, she said. I didn't say anything else. I just hugged her. Not out of obligation. Out of something else. Something real. It felt like we were rebuilding. 3 big clients in 1 week. All through her network. And for the first time, I was okay with needing her. 3 months later, everything looked different. Not louder. Not flashier. Just sharper. Clearer. Real. Our agency had a name now. A fully booked calendar. We shot on rooftops, in boutique hotels, and showrooms dripping with gold. We handled full-scale brand campaigns, fashion, interiors, hospitality. Our team doubled, and we weren't chasing anymore. Clients came to us. That morning, I arrived early. The office smelled like fresh coffee and eucalyptus from the diffuser near reception. Sunlight cut across the glass desk in my corner. I sat down, pulled up the brief, and reviewed our next pitch deck. Across the hall, Amelia was already deep in conversation. Cream dress, polished voice, eye contact that didn't waver. She was speaking to a man who ran one of the city's biggest jewelry houses. She knew exactly how to speak his language. She represented us. She wasn't just my mother anymore. She was our business development manager. My partner. The shift happened slowly, but it stuck. We didn't tiptoe around the past anymore. We moved forward. She brought the network, the instinct, the polish. I brought the strategy, the creative, the control. The money came through me now. The decisions too. She never questioned that. Not once. And I trusted her, not like before. Differently. Deliberately. We knew each other's strengths. And boundaries. Clients respected her. My team relied on me. And somehow, it worked. That evening, after the last meeting ended and the lights dimmed, we stayed behind in the office. Just the 2 of us. I poured sparkling water into 2 glasses. She laughed. No wine. Not tonight, I smiled. We're booked for the next 6 weeks. I need my brain. We clinked glasses. A soft, satisfying sound. To the studio, I said. She looked at me. I soft. To the studio that you built. I shook my head. No, that we built. And for once, there was nothing left to say. Nothing to fix. Nothing broken. We stood there in the quiet, not mother and daughter trying to survive, not a child demanding and a parent hiding, but 2 women who had walked through fire and made it out the other side. Not perfectly, but together, and stronger than ever. Do you think Mia did the right thing by telling her father that her mother had lost a large sum of money? Tell us what you would have done. Subscribe, more untold stories are on the way.